Are you feeling overwhelmed by hopelessness, wondering if there's a way out of the darkness? You're not alone. In these moments, it's natural to question the purpose behind our struggles and to seek a glimmer of light to guide us through. Today, I want to share a message that speaks directly to your heart, offering encouragement and a renewed sense of hope. Consider the words of the prophet Jeremiah, who conveyed God's promise to his people in times of despair. In Jeremiah 30 verse 10, God says, "Therefore do not fear, O my servant Jacob, declares the Lord, nor be dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your offspring from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall return and have quiet and ease, and none shall make him afraid." This verse is a powerful reminder that even when circumstances seem insurmountable, God assures us of his deliverance and peace. Reflecting on this promise, it's important to recognize that feelings of hopelessness are not a sign of personal failure, but a part of the human experience. Life presents challenges that can obscure our sense of purpose and diminish our joy. Yet, it's precisely in these moments that we are invited to lean into our faith, trusting that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating a plan for our restoration and peace. Imagine the Israelites, exiled and longing for their homeland, burdened by uncertainty and fear. God's message to them was clear. Despite the distance and the adversity, he had not forgotten them. He promised to bring them back, to provide them with rest and security. This assurance wasn't just for the Israelites. It's a timeless promise extended to all who feel lost and weary. In your own life, consider the areas where hopelessness has taken root. It might be a strained relationship, a financial hardship, or a personal failure that looms large. Acknowledge these struggles, but also remind yourself that they do not define your future. God's promise of salvation and peace is as relevant today as it was centuries ago. He is committed to guiding you through the valleys, leading you toward a place of tranquility and confidence. Embracing this promise requires an active shift in perspective. Instead of fixating on the obstacles before you, focus on the possibilities that lie ahead. Trust that God's plan encompasses more than the immediate challenges. It includes a future where you can thrive and find fulfillment. This doesn't mean that difficulties will vanish overnight, but it does mean that you have a steadfast companion in God, who is dedicated to your well-being. As you navigate through feelings of hopelessness, take practical steps to reinforce your faith. Engage in regular prayer, not just as a ritual, but as a heartfelt conversation with God, expressing your fears and hopes. Delve into the scriptures, allowing the stories of perseverance and divine intervention to inspire you. Surround yourself with a supportive community that uplifts you and reminds you of God's promises. Remember, the journey from despair to hope is a process, one that unfolds uniquely for each individual. Be patient with yourself and allow room for gradual healing and growth. Celebrate small victories along the way, recognizing them as signs of progress and divine encouragement. Hopelessness has a way of clouding your vision, making you believe that nothing will ever change. It whispers lies that tell you you're stuck, that there's no way out, and that your prayers are going unheard. But let me remind you, those feelings are not the truth. The truth is that God is always at work, even when you can't see it. He is the same God who delivered his people from captivity, who made a way through the Red Sea, who turned mourning into dancing, and he hasn't changed. The same power that rescued countless generations before you is working in your life right now, even if it feels like nothing is happening. Sometimes the enemy wants you to focus so much on your problems that you forget who your God is. But let's shift that focus today. Instead of looking at how big your struggles are, look at how big your God is. The pain you're feeling, the uncertainty you're facing, the doors that seem closed, none of these are bigger than God's ability to turn things around. The enemy may want you to feel like you are alone in your struggle, but you are not alone. God is walking with you, strengthening you, holding you up when you feel like you can't keep going. He is your provider, your protector, your healer, your refuge. When you turn your eyes to him, even the darkest seasons of your life will start to look different. And let's talk about the waiting, because sometimes the hardest part of trusting God is waiting for the breakthrough. Waiting can feel unbearable when you don't see progress. But waiting is not wasted time in God's hands. Waiting is where your faith is strengthened. It's where you learn to trust, where your heart is refined, and where you begin to see that God's timing is always perfect. Think about Joseph. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. But even in the waiting, even in the silence, God was preparing him for something greater. What if the delay in your life is not a denial, but a setup for something far beyond what you could ever imagine? God's promises are not empty words. When he says he will never leave you nor forsake you, he means it. When he says he has plans to prosper you and not to harm you, he means it. When he says he will fight for you, he means it. There is no situation too hopeless for God. No mistake too big, no failure too great, no season too dark that he cannot redeem. He specializes in turning ashes into beauty, in giving hope to the weary, in restoring what was lost. And if you're in a season where you feel like everything is falling apart, hold on, because God is not finished with your story yet. Faith is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. It's about knowing that even when you don't understand, even when things don't make sense, even when you're crying out to God and wondering if he hears you, he is still in control. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I believe it's coming. Faith says, I don't feel strong, but I know God is holding me up. Faith says, even if things don't happen the way I want, I trust that God's plan is better than mine. If you're feeling hopeless right now, I want you to know that God has not abandoned you. He is not ignoring your prayers. He is not punishing you. He is shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for something greater. Hold on to his promises. Hold on to hope. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep trusting, because breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you will look back and see that God was working all along. In conclusion, hold fast to the promise encapsulated in Jeremiah 30 verse 10. Let it serve as a beacon of hope, illuminating your path through the darkest times. Trust that God is actively working to bring you to a place of rest and security, where fear no longer holds sway. If this message helped you, I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the encouragement someone else needs. Remember to subscribe to the Daily Christian for more uplifting content, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future videos. God bless you.